Hello, I am John Najarian, and RebelCon 2022 is almost here. We do have a virtual pass. The virtual pass gives you full access to everything, all the streams, the live trading sessions, all of our fabulous keynote speakers. So to learn more about what's going on at RebelCon 2022, whether you're in person or virtual, check out marketrebellion.com/Dallas.
Good morning. I'm Pete Najarian. This is The Take on this Monday morning. Excited about this week, but let's look back to last week because that's where things really did turn. And it was a big turn because we'd seen a lot of volatility. We'd also seen a lot of selling and the pressure on the markets. Well, last week that certainly did reverse. It was a short week, only 4 days, but nonetheless, we finished from Tuesday to Friday on the Dow up about 1,000 points and about 500 points on the NASDAQ total from Tuesday to Friday. A very nice performance in the markets, and it probably caught a lot of folks, matter of fact, off their game a little bit because they'd gotten so used to seeing the markets getting sold and sold and sold. And suddenly we had a couple of bursts, and those bursts turned into a whole lot more and a pretty great week for the markets to the upside. Crude oil, wow, you want to talk about a little bit of a roller coaster ride and some volatility. $89 at the start on Tuesday, got all the way down towards 81, 82 midweek, and then we closed right around 86. So an up and down week, absolutely, all over the place. How about that 10-year treasury? We talk about those all the time. Still kind of hanging around that 3.3 level. So that was something that it's just been there, though. It stopped sort of that movement that we were getting to the upside, and it sort of paused right where we are. Obviously, you look over at the 2-year, that's a little closer towards that 3.5 level. Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin has made a nice little run last week. It started around 18,000 thereabouts, got up towards that 21,000 level. So that also was a nice participant during the week. The sectors that really were pulling on the markets were very apparent. Technology, it was materials. We'd had a little bit from the financials as well, and there was a myriad of names. Tesla, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Netflix, Meta. Then you look over at Twitter, you look at Snap, you get the idea, consumer discretion, a lot of different areas in the market that were participating to this upside move that we had. So communications, energy, technology, consumer discretion, that was the positives, all up anywhere between 2 and 2.5%. That was pretty impressive as well. Every sector finishing in the green last week as well. You look over at the VIX, back underneath 23. You look at the VXN, back underneath that 30 level. We had volumes on Friday of a little bit over 45 million contracts. The volume was back. People are back from all of the summertime and moving kids into college and everything else that goes into those end of the summer months, but everybody was back. 45 million contracts trading in the options world. Nat gas right around that 8 level. As a matter of fact, Nat gas has been moving a little bit, and it's been very, very interesting. Got underneath 8. It's come back, and today, as a matter of fact, back up above that 8 level, a little bit closer to about 820. We start off this week with a few things that are definitely catalysts that we'll be watching very closely, CPI being one of those. That's going to be coming up tomorrow. You got the Fed meeting next week, so that's something also that we'll be looking forward to in terms of the catalyst, although they've been very transparent and they've already basically given us what we are going to see for a roadmap. And so barring anything really shocking, I think we already know what the Fed's going to be saying and what they'll be looking at. And, oh, by the way, you might actually hear the words data dependent, just throwing that out there as a possibility. So you've got crude. Crude is still up there a little bit more, and it's trading right around that 88 level. So almost a complete round trip. We were a little over 88. Last I looked, we were a little bit closer towards that 88 itself. As I mentioned, you look over at the 2-year, 3.5. You look over at the 10-year, just under 3.3. I was looking at about a 3.28 last I looked. Things can change. Bitcoin, not only 21,000, here it is, 22,300. That's something that's got people talking a little bit more and more after that push down towards that 17,000, 18,000 level. And then you've got the volatility of the NASDAQ, 2980. still underneath that 30 level. So we've seen volatility temper down as we're watching the markets absolutely get onto a momentous move in the first hour or so. We were up 60 points on the Dow in the pre-market. We opened up well over 100 points, then 200 points. Now, last I looked, we were up over 330 points on the Dow. Same sort of a path for the NASDAQ. It's now up about 150 points. So a very strong production early on. Every single sector, again, is green. I'm looking at names in the energy space. Started off the day up a little bit over 1%. We are up 3% now. So energy, definitely a leadership role. Consumer discretion, that's gotten up. It's now over a 1.5% move to the upside. The one that turned the most outside of energy was the financials. I'm looking at materials up over 1%, technology nearly 1.5%, but it's the financials. The financials are up a little over 0.5%, up 1.25% now. So that's actually completely doubled in the first hour. We'll continue to watch that as well. We've got Starbucks coming up. We got Costco coming up. We've got chip restrictions that the president's been talking about as well. Some of those shipments to China. That's why you're seeing a little bit of pressure on some of those names in the SMH. So it looks like everything is definitely moving to the upside, but you got some of the chips under a little bit of pressure. Not a whole lot, but definitely a little bit of pressure there as well. So where are we seeing a lot of the movement? Healthcare is another one of those areas. To take a look over at Bristol Myers and Gilead, a nice start to the day, no doubt about that. You've got Lucid also having a pretty nice start to the day. DocuSign, you've got Datadog, we've got Apple. Apple, the big behemoth that is, up about 2%. That is a monstrous move for that monstrous stock. $2.7 trillion stock. That says a lot. And a 2% move, that certainly is something that will make you stand up and take notice of that. 3M, we also had Wendy's. Again, Friday, we had that unusual option activity. That was something that stood out for us, and that hit right about midday when John was going back on that halftime report. I am not back yet, but a lot of people have been asking. But there's a lot of things going on, and I've had a very, very busy September, and that continues. So absolutely nothing right now in the works for me on that front right now. We'll see how things change. Ross Stores and Restoration Hardware also just shows you both sides of the pendulum in terms of what kind of shopping people are doing. Both of those today in positive territory. You're looking at those ag names, though, under pressure. I'm looking at CF and Mosaic, both under a fair amount of pressure, as a matter of fact. Amgen as well. And I mentioned those semiconductors. AMD, I'm looking at KLAC under a little bit of pressure early on. Throw in a Kroger's as well in terms of some of those safety type plays that is under a little bit of pressure as the markets are going to the upside. So a lot to cover there. I got one unusual for you, but I will tell you this. We only have one unusual option in the first hour, and I believe we've got about 11 or 12 of them right now. One is negative, and that was the very first unusual option of the day. Everything else has been positive. Everything else has been buying calls. So we talked about Wendy's last Friday. John talked about it. I just mentioned that was one of the names in positive territory. What if I told you on Friday, stock was trading around 20, let's call it. We had a buyer of the November 20 calls going all the way out to November. We've also seen in the past some further out options as well. They're buying to the upside. Here's the interesting thing. With the stock trading now over 21, we had a buyer of 6,400 of the September 21 calls. Now, September, third Friday, which is this Friday. So these are very short term, but they've got the 21s. It's already in the money by 14 cents. Stock's trading 21.14. These are the 21s. 6,400 of those September 21 calls getting bought, 24 cents all the way up to about 75 cents. That definitely caught my eye because they're coming for Wendy's. They're coming for Wendy's. They're coming for Wendy's. And they've been buying further out. Now they're attacking right where it is, looking for movement right now. So that'll be something we'll see as it plays out through the rest of the week. Folks, you will find John and I today at 1 p.m. Eastern, the Rebels Edge. We're excited about that. We have so much to cover there. Got a few unusual option activities. We'll obviously hit the macro in terms of the micro minute for macro. That's something we'll hit. We'll also hit 4 big topics. Got a lot of sports to cover as well. Man, it's going to be a lot of fun. Look forward to that. And before that, we also have Pete's covered calls as well, part of the Market Rebellion team. It's always fun. 10:30 today. That's Central Time, 10:30. Be doing that one as well. But look for the Rebels Edge at 1 p.m. I'm Pete Najarian. Have a great day of trading.